okay, then what we're going to do now, I will go out. Later on, I come and go to the speaker. I said to her, okay, that's good. I returned back to the office of the majority leader, Churchill Balme. I was sitting for a while. Again, Fatuba came back to me and asked me, did you know this lady? I said to her, no, I don't know the lady. She said, the lady is an NIA agent. I said, okay. Before Fatuba stepped out of the office, he collected me again. I said, "Them, Honorable, there are men looking for you outside there." I went to meet them. They identified themselves as officers from Office of the President. They said to me that I was needed at the NIA. I followed them. Then they put me in their vehicle, double pickup vehicle. We head to the NIA. Yes, at the NIA, reaching at the main gate, we met Captain Musa Jammeh standing with his automatic rifle AK-47 with a green signet, military fatigue. He said to me whether I know him. I say, yes, you are Musa Jammeh, I know you very well. He said, what happened? I say, I would not know if you don't tell me. That is how he instructed the officers to proceed with me to Mile 2 Central Prison. Reaching at Mile 2 Central Prison.
Mr. Witness, let's just stop for now and just retract a bit and just get some clarity. You mentioned that a certain lady came to the National Assembly looking for you under the pretext of looking for a job. Is that correct?
Exactly.
And when she left, you were informed by your secretary that she was indeed an NIA operative.
That's true, Counsel.
Okay, it later emerged that that was the fact because as soon as she left, the arresting team basically came to arrest you.
Yes.
Okay, and you suspected that the lady obviously was there to confirm your location. That was her mission, and not to look for a job.
No, that was her mission. She came to look whether I have reported to work today. So that was her mission.
Can you give us a description of the lady?
The lady is short and fair in complexion. She seems to be she is just like a fuller lady, but then is not.
Any particular identification mark she had, or was there anything peculiar about her appearance?
You know, the lady, it was difficult for me to identify her very well because she was putting on these what we call ibadu things on her head.
All right, she basically was covered.
Yes, I can. Yeah, the head was covered, and yes, you can see the face. But then she is short and fair in complexion.
All right. How many people were part of the arresting team?
There were 4 in number, including their driver. 3 officers and the driver, 4.
And you said they were dressed in plain clothes?
Yes.
Do you know if they were civilians or military personnel?
No, I think these people would have been plainclothes officers from State House because they were heavily armed.
Were you arrested within the premises of the National Assembly building?
Inside the National Assembly building, without waiving my immunity, in fact.
Indeed. And where was the National Assembly located at that time?
Independent Drive Road, opposite Carlton Hotel.
And this was just a stone's throw from the NIA building. Is that correct?
Exactly, yes.
You said when you got to the NIA building, Musa Jammeh was at the gate with his AK-47 rifle. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you please tell us who Musa Jammeh was and what his position was?
Musa Jammeh, his nickname was Maliye Mungu, they used to call him. He also was a close protection officer at the office of the president.
Can you please just go back to the immunity that you spoke about? As a National Assembly member, you enjoy certain privileges and immunities. Can you just explain the particular immunity that you spoke about? Please describe it to the commissioners.
Yes, Council, when I say immunities, a sitting member of National Assembly, before you arrest the individual, there must be an emergency meeting called. You waive his immunity. After waiving his immunity, party will decide to expel or not to expel him. From there, then he will be taken for interrogation or questioning. And during the interrogation or questioning also, certain committee of the National Assembly have to be present to see whether it goes with democratic principle. But this was never done.
Is it correct, Mr. Witness, that as a sitting member of Parliament, you cannot be arrested whilst in lawful execution of your duties as a member of Parliament?
That is very true.
So this arrest, how did you view the arrest? Did you view it as constitutional or lawful?
That was wrongful. It was unconstitutional.
And do you know why you were arrested? Were you told?
My reason of arrest, that very moment, I was not told.
Did you suspect why you were arrested?
No, I don't suspect anything, definitely.
You mentioned just previously that you were not part of a coup plot. The 2006 coup plot, is that correct? You said you were not part of it.
I was not part of it. Sorry, I will say this. There was a remark Musa Jammeh made when I met him at the gate of the NIA. That was, you thought that we will not get you. This was the remark he made. Then my mind went back to the warning I have been receiving from the NIA in those years. My stubbornness. So automatically I was thinking it's because of those bills I was fighting in and out. This is the reason why it led to my arrest.
And this was when the NIA attempted to interfere with your duties as a National Assembly member and basically try to interfere with your independence. Is that correct?
Exactly. That was my thought, definitely.
Would you say then that the reason why you were arrested was in connection to your lawful performance of your duties as a National Assembly member?
Very well.
And that the coup plot was perhaps just a ploy to actually get you arrested?
No, that was just a decoy. It was not. It was just a decoy. Yeah, yeah.
You were arrested, and you said you were put in a particular vehicle. Can you just describe the vehicle that you were put in?
That is a double pickup vehicle with the tinted glasses, no number plates, and we drove in towards mile 2.
Did you eventually get to mile 2? And if you did, what happened there?
Yes. When we arrived at the main gate of mile 2, one officer wanted to register me before we get in. He asked for my name. That was how this officer shouted on him. Sorry for my language. He said to him, "Fucking open the gate. I am Dego from State House." So that's how the officer opened the gate. We went inside towards the conference room.
Was this officer a prison officer?
Yes, was a prison officer.
And do you know what happens normally when they bring a prisoner into mile 2? Do you know what the procedure is?
Yes, the procedure is they have to get your details, what time you came there, where you come from, what age, and all sort of things. You have to be registered first. But in my case, that was not done.
And in your opinion, why is it important to register you and make sure that all these details are taken when you go into mile 2?
So that anything happened to the individual, then those arresting team or the government will be held responsible, or the prison authority will be held responsible. They have to explain.
And is it also correct that to also identify your location and know that you are actually at the mile 2 prisons?
Exactly.
And you said this process basically was not complied with. They demanded that the prison officer open the gate and you headed to the reception area. What happened when you got to the reception area?
Yes, when I arrived in the reception area, I saw a lot of people arrested, some shouting, screaming, others bleeding, others. No, the environment was not friendly at that time, definitely. I recognized Ramsey Diab in particular, was seriously beaten. All his back were marked with beating and other things. So that's what I came to know, that definitely this thing is not going to be nice today here.
Can you just name other people that you saw there that you can remember apart from Ramsey Diab?
Yes, when I was escorted from this conference room to the maximum security wing number 5.
Sorry, Mr. Witness. Let's just, for now, can we stay at the reception area? If you cannot remember other people, that's okay. But if you can remember other people you saw at the reception area, please let us know.
Okay, I was received by one military officer, warrant officer Omar Koli. We call him Jagai by nickname.
And who was he?
Under them, I can recognize Ramsey Diab. I saw some army officers, the like of Captain Permendi. Yeah, and I also recognize Omar Baru Kamara, member for Kantora. I saw also MC Cham and Mustafa Low. I did so also Ali Low and Ahmadi Sow, Ustaz Usman C, and many others.
Can you tell us who Ramsey Diab was and whether this was a male or female person?
Yes, Ramsey Diab was a nominated member of parliament. Was a female serving member.
You said you saw her in a very bad state. She was bleeding and had wounds all over her body, on her back in particular. Is that correct?
Correct, Council.
Did you notice anything else apart from what you have just mentioned, perhaps also about her emotional state?
No, Ramsey was biting, crying, shouting on top of her voice, and I saw blood all over her body. Yes, blood oozing all over her body. That is how the condition I saw Ramsey. And a female officer was escorting Ramsey towards the female prison wing.
Before she was escorted to the female wing at the reception area, did it appear that she was being detained there at the reception area?
Yes. She was from NIA, then brought to the reception area.
When she was brought to the reception area, was she the only female there?
Yes, I think I recognize only Ramsey as the female MPs there by then.
Yes, I was more leaning towards whether she was the only female detainee in general.
Yes, in connection of the 2006 coup plot.
Yes, and also at that particular location at the reception area.
Exactly, he was with. No, I think I can't remember now.
That's
With
all
whom?
right. That's all right. And you said a female prison officer led her away. And do you know where she was being led away to?
Yes, to the remand wing, to the female remand wing.
And do you know whether at this point Ramsey had been charged with any particular offense or whether she had come before any court of law?
No, that was, we were just newly arrested. That was during those days, first arrest. Nobody was charged by then. They were just arresting people, bringing to mile 2.
As a National Assembly member, do you know whether any detainee or prisoner can be taken to the remand wing without a lawful court order?
No, no, I don't think so.
So her detention was clearly illegal. Is that correct?
Illegal. Yes.
You mentioned other people, but just for the purposes of being brief, I would just like you just to tell us the general condition of all these other people you named: Pierre Mendy, Omar Baru Kamara, MC Cham, Mustafa Lo, Aliou Lo, Amadi Sow, and Ustaz Usman C. Just tell us in general what condition you found them in.
I found them in a very terrible condition. All of them were seriously beaten from the NIA, then brought to the prison, reminding to be detained. But immediately from your arrest, you are transported to the NIA, interrogated, beaten, or tortured, then brought back to the mile 2 to be detained and wait for interrogation next.
And how do you know this? Were you a witness to this?
Yes, you will see marks all over their bodies. Marks of this pipe the military used to handle or the military police used to have. This plastic batting that they used to beat people with.
You are suggesting that the marks that they bore on their bodies suggested that they were being beaten by these military batons?
Obviously, that was caused by beating. That was definitely caused by beating council.
Can you just tell us who, the people that you just listed, can you tell us who they were? Per Mendy, who was he?
Yeah, Captain Per PJ Mendy was the CO at Fajara Barangton.
And what about Omar Baru Kamara?
Omar was a National Assembly member for Kantora, Basse.
MC Chan?
MC was an ex-minister in the former regime.
And what about Mustafa Lo?
Mustafa Lo was a private citizen, but was an knave to Captain Durcham.
Sorry, can you repeat that? What was he to Captain Durcham?
His knave.
His nephew, you mean?
Nephew, I mean.
Okay.
And secondly, he was accused of harboring Durcham when Sir Jase transported Durcham from Katong to Farato, his home. It was Mustafa Lo who harbored Durcham there before he was transported to Kujube in the Casamance.
Okay. And what about Aliou Lo? Who was he?
Aliou Lo was uncle to Ali Job, and Aliou Lo was the one giving transport to go and meet Durcham in Katong in a small mosque, give him fare so that he can proceed.
And I'm assuming that Aliou Lo and Mustafa Lo are related, is that correct?
Yes, they are all related.
Okay. What about Amadi Sow? Who was he?
Amadi Sow was a Taliban to Chairman Abdurrahman Bari Bogal. You know, they suspected Chairman Abdurrahman Bari being involved. But as far as they cannot get him, he was in Casamance. They decided to go for Amadi Sow in his house in Joshua.
Okay. And this Marabu that you mentioned, I assume he's a religious figure. Can you just tell us how they suspected that he was involved and how could he have helped them in the outcome of the coup plot?
You know, the Marabo was a very good friend to Yaya Jammeh. I can attest to that. I know it very well. He was a very good friend to Yaya Jammeh, and they have done together a lot of things. All of a sudden, problem occur among themselves. Chairman Abdurrahman Bari and Yaya Jammeh, they have problem. That problem also was due to, yes, Ablai Kujabi. So this is how their friendship broke away. Yaya Jammeh was annoyed of him, wanted to get him, but have no way. Then during the coup plot, because we were regular visitors of Chairman Abdurrahman Bari, me, Ali Job, and other soldiers, then he thought that we were going there for Chairman Abdurrahman Bari to help us to succeed in the coup. This is how things went.
Okay, very well. Let's just come back to you. You were brought to Mile 2, proceeded to the reception area where you saw all of these people. And what happened to you in particular? Can you give us what your experience was?
I was stripped naked when I arrived at the Mile 2 Central Precinct at the reception, handcuffed, escorted to the maximum security wing, number 5, put up in a cell there, and waiting for the next step, that is to take me to the NIA for interrogation.
And who escorted you to the maximum security, number 5? And please tell us its location within the prison premises.
These are 3 armed soldiers, heavily armed soldiers, with 1 prison officer who have the key, the cell key.
You said you were stripped naked. Can you please explain what you mean by that?
Yes, when I say naked, sorry, but then I don't mean my trouser also was stripped off, but my shirt, everything, all my belongings were taken and dumped at the reception center there. Yes, but then I was with my trouser.
Do you know why your shirt was removed?
Maybe they may suspected that I may carry certain things with me that might lead to hurt me, or I may try to commit suicide, having something on me.
Did you mention that you were handcuffed?
Yes, I was handcuffed.
And you were detained in a cell in maximum security wing number 5, is that correct?
That's correct.
When you got to your detention cell, were the handcuffs removed?
No, because by what they told me was, we will come for you and take you to the NIA for interrogation. This is why they left me there with my handcuffed in the cell.
So was the cell locked?
Yeah, it was locked.
So despite the fact that you were in a prison and the maximum security wing for that matter, and you were locked behind a cell, you were still handcuffed?
Exactly.
Okay, can you tell us what happened next?
So from there, I was there until around 1:30 p.m. Armed soldiers came for me. With the leadership of...
Sorry, Mr. Witness, sorry to interrupt you once again. When did you get to Mile 2 prisons? What time?
3 p.m.
Okay, you mentioned that you waited until 1 p.m. Can you clarify what time it was that the soldiers came to get you?
Yes, from 1... No, not from 1 p.m., 1:30, I said.
Yeah, 1:30 in the afternoon, or 1:30 in the morning, early hours of the morning?
No, that was in the afternoon.
Was it the same day or the next day? Let me just clarify, Mr. Witness. You have told us that you came to the prison at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And you're
that
now
was
telling
the first
us...
day.
Yes, that's
First day of my arrest. Yes. First day of my arrest, 3 p.m., Mile 2. I waited 5. I was escorted to the NIA for interrogation. That was the first day.
The first day you waited for 2 hours, and at 5 p.m. in the evening, you were
Yes.
taken to NIA.
Then, exactly.
Okay. Before you were taken to the NIA, did you meet other detainees at the maximum security wing?
I saw them, but we cannot meet because it was an individual cell. Everybody is locked up with a cell. But then the way you go in, you will see them, or you will see them moving around. Yes, being put in the cell. That's how we recognize them.
Okay. Can you remember any of them, and can you tell us their names?
Yes. I was put at the last row of number 5 maximum security wing, number 4 cell. Next to me was Lanconte, the former KMC chairman. Opposite me was Hamadi Sow. Then after Hamadi Sow, you have Abla Yai. And you have Omar Keita, a cell before me. You have Captain Wasa Kamara, a cell after Omar Keita. So this is how the row goes on.
Can you tell us whether all of these people you mentioned were arrested in connection to the 2006 coup?
Yes, all of them were arrested in connection of the coup.
Do you know when they were arrested?
Some of them were arrested early part of 21st February, 21st of March, sorry, some 24th, some 6th, others on the 23, yes.
And you were arrested on which date?
I was arrested on the 28th.
So you were all arrested within that same period?
Yeah, the same month.
Okay. Can you please tell us what condition you found these detainees? You can omit the ones you've already mentioned at the reception area.
The condition of the detainees were very, very bad. They were seriously beaten, and so they were seriously tortured. Yes, you see their body swollen, faces swollen. Some have broken hands, especially Bunjadabu. I saw his hands was broken. Yes.
What about Lanconte?
Lanconte also was tortured, was beaten very seriously.
And he had also been arrested in connection to the 2006 coup?
Yes.
Amadou Sow?
Amadou Sow also was beaten and arrested in connection.
And who was he, Amadou Sow and Lanconte? Who were they?
Who was Amadou Sow?
Yes, please.
Amadou Sow was Talibete Cherno Abdurrahman Bari of Bogal.
Yes, you mentioned it before, actually. What about Lanconte?
Okay. Lanconte was the former KMC chair, mayor.
And you mentioned a National Assembly member, Umar Kamara. Was he also detained?
Yes. Yes, he was also detained. He was a member serving for Kantora district.
Did you mention Lanconte or Laikonte? Can we just clarify that point, please?
Both of them were there, but then Lang was not arrested in connection of the coup. It's Laikonte who was arrested in connection of the coup. Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification.
You're welcome.
Do you know what Lanconte was arrested in connection to?
No, definitely I don't know. Definitely.
Okay. So just tell us what happened next when the soldiers came to get you.
Yeah, they came to collect me at my cell, maximum security wing number 5. Took me to the reception center at the prison. Yes, I boarded a Pajero, white Pajero truck headed to NIA Banjul.
And who were these soldiers? Can you just describe how they appeared and if you remember any of them?
Yes, the soldiers were dressed in an official uniform because their uniform were black. Their faces covered, mouth covered, and nose, everything. So all is black. We call them the black boys, now known as junglers.
How did they transport you out of the prison?
I was handcuffed, then bundled and thrown in the car, and certain soldiers sit beside me, escorted me with heavily armed weapons.
Can you describe what arms they bore?
Some were having AK-47 automatic rifle. Some of them were having these bayonets. Some were having launchers attached to the car, and many things. All kind of weapons they have.
What were these bayonets?
The bayonets, they used to stamp it with people.
Is it a knife, a big knife?
Yeah, it's these military daggers, knife, we call.
And what about the launchers? Were they grenade launchers?
Grenade launchers, yeah. They were on their jackets.
Did they do anything to you whilst you were in the vehicle being transported to Banjul?
Yes, they beat me very seriously in the vehicle. Before we arrived at the NIA, they started torturing me inside the vehicle. Yeah, telling me all kind of words.
What kind of words were they telling you?
That is insulting me, telling me if you people don't want the regime of these Jolas, you have to die and go to hell, but the Jolas must rule you. So many kind of things they were altering.
And I assume you're not from the Jola tribe. Which tribe are you from?
I am a Fula.
Okay. So what happened? Where did they take you to?
So they took me to the NIA. On arrival, Council allowed me to say this. I must say this because I heard of the testimony of General Alaji Martin with due respect. But then when we arrived at the NIA, entering, on your right hand side is where these people, Alaji Martin and his group, were drinking, alcoholic, jubilating, beating people, all kind of things. So this is why when he said to lead council Esapal that he don't recognize me, I said yes, that must be the case because he was under the influence of alcohol, the Biden.
And who is Alaji Martin, please? Can you just clarify who you knew him to
Alaji
be?
Martin is the President Inspector General of the Gambia Armed Forces.
Do you know his rank?
He is General, Brigadier General.
He's the Brigadier General of the Armed Forces.
Yes.
Okay, and he's the one who testified in the TRRC.
Yes, just recently I heard of his testimony that he never touched me, he don't know me even. So out of all those 30 people in the panels, why should I only single out Alaji Martin and say he beat me? Why should I lie? What can it cost me? So I don't think whether that was proper.
Very well. You said you went into the NIA premises and you saw a group of soldiers led by Alaji Martin, and you said they were drinking. Can you tell us what they were drinking?
They were drinking this local makes alcohol they call Sum Sum. Sum Sum.
And where was this Sum Sum? In what container was it in?
It was in this 20-liter container brought from State House. And beside that also, there was sheep killed there and they were doing their barbecue, enjoying themselves.
What else? Apart from drinking the alcohol, did they do anything else with it?
Yes, dancing, jubilating, beating people, because I meet all the victims also there.
Did you mention that they poured the alcohol on their heads and all over their bodies?
Exactly. When they drink for a while and you see somebody pour the alcohol on his head, all over his body, then start running around, dancing.
Okay, so you basically went past them and you were being led away to which location of the NIA premises?
Yes, I was escorted at the reception conference room at the NIA. When you enter the NIA, straight away you see the conference room there upstairs. I was escorted at the second floor there.
The conference room is located, did you say straight ahead when you come through the gates of the NIA?
Exactly, yes.
And is it a story building or a bungalow, this premises you entered into?
No, it's a storage building, yes.
And on what floor is the conference room located on?
Second floor. Second floor, yes.
Okay. Can you describe how the conference room was?
Yes, when I arrived, I saw many people sitting on a round conference table, sitting and waiting for me.
You mentioned
so
earlier.
When I arrived, I was. Sorry.
My apologies, please proceed.
When I arrived, I was seated in the middle of those investigators. They all rounded me all over. I was given a chair to sit. Still then I was on the handcuff, and a small radio was placed under my mouth to say whatever I want to say. So they started questioning me.
Before we start, on questions about what was said or asked in the panel, can I just ask you, you mentioned that Alaji Martin was leading a group of soldiers who were actually drinking when you passed by them. Can you just tell us how you knew that the person that you saw was Alaji Martin?
Council, I was a serving member of the National Assembly and also do visit State House frequently. So government function also we met everywhere. So we know each other very well.
At the time that you saw Alaji Martin, during that period in March 2006, what position did he hold?
Alaji Martin was second lieutenant or lieutenant, because then he was not putting on uniform. His singlet and his body armor, this thing, he was having an AK-47 rifle.
And do you know which part of the service he was in?
He is from State Guard. From State Guard.
And those are the personal bodyguards of the president, is that correct?
Of the president, yes. Yes.
Yeah, please go on and just, I'm just aware that the time is coming up, but let's just start on your testimony regarding, the conference that was done in the conference room and the panel members. Just tell us who was there and who was sitting where, and where you were positioned in the room.
Yes, when I entered, I was seated in the middle of the circle because the conference center was in the form of circle, benches put around and tables. So when I sit within them, in the middle with handcuff, that's the time I saw Fode Barry. I think then Fode was the leader because the file was under him then.
Who was
Fode didn't ask me. Fode Barry was an ex-NIA agent, but then was dismissed. After the coup plot in 2006, they hired him again to help them in their investigation.
And who else was present?
I saw Fode Barry, Baba Saho. Baba Saho was also an NIA agent. He was then the external director. I saw Boto Keta, Sergeant Boto Keta from the Serious Crime Unit. Sergeant Lamin Cham also from the Serious Crime Unit. Mamadou Haidara, Director of Operation, NIA. Yes, and many others.
Okay, very well. Mr. Witness, I think I would like to perhaps call it a day. We will proceed with your testimony. Tomorrow, I would like to give an opportunity to some of the commissioners just to ask you a few questions before we round up for the day. But we will continue tomorrow with your testimony in the morning because we are not quite finished.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much, for that, Council, and thank you very much, Mr. Dem, for agreeing to come to testify before the Commission from where you are in the Netherlands. Commission members, do you have any questions to ask? Deputy Chair, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable. The first question is in relationship to Ali Job. You said when your wife asked you to come and see Ali on the telly, you left immediately to go to his house. What was your relationship with Ali?
Thank you very much, Auntie Andelet. Yeah, my relationship with Ali, we were tight friends, so cordial. I can fully remember during those days when I was marrying my wife, it was Ali who went for my wife from Kuloro. So when Ali also was marrying from Jara Pakalini, I was the one headed at least the group to go and collect his wife from there. So our relationship was very cordial. That was since childhood.
Thank you for that clarification. Now, the second one is in relationship to your job. You said because you were returned unopposed, you were obliged to treat all your constituents the same because you could not distinguish between who was your supporter and who was an opponent. But don't you think that it is the role of a National Assembly member, once you are elected into office, that you are obliged to all the constituents, whether they were your supporter or whether they were unopposed, or whether they were your opposition? I would like you to clarify that point for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council. That is very true. Whether being opposition or ruling party, as a National Assembly member, immediately when you take the oath of office, treat all of them equally, despite the fact they never voted for you or don't want you. And that was how I was operating. And the government never wanted that way. Because I still can remember there are certain areas where our former president come from, Barijal. There are strong opposition of the opposition parties. But that was my strong base. And those people categorically told me, we will not vote for your president, but for you, you are a bona fide citizen of this constituency, we will vote for you mercilessly. So that gives me the courage also. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from commissioners? If not, thank you very much, Honorable Dem, and we will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Council, do you have any?
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Or we just continue with him? If not, yeah, please go ahead. Let's hear.
Mr. Chair, we have no announcements to make, except for the fact that we put the ball back into your court to decide whether we call it a day or we continue until whatever. But I think minds are already set to calling it a day. You may make that
makes my task a lot easier to do that. No, I don't have any problem in calling it a day. And as you said earlier when we started, your announcement on Thursday that it was going to be a very interesting week. It has been a very interesting day. So don't feel embarrassed that
we look forward to the rest of the week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma. We will see you all tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.